Hello, love. This is Melanie on the Shy Love Radio Show, Pop Radio Worldwide, iHeartRadio, and Spotify Premium. Now, initially, we begin and we take 3 deep breaths, but I've been adding steps to it. So, before you inhale, I want you to visualize a problem of yours, a situation, something that brings you low vibrational energy. I want you to visualize it. As you are inhaling, I want you to gather the components of that problem. Hold it for 3 seconds and then blow it out. Blow that energy out. We'll take 3 deep breaths so you can pick 3 different issues. Release that energy. Let's do it together. 1. Let it go. 2. Do you visualize it? You see it? Let's gather the components of it. Let it go. All right. 1 more. Okay. Shake it out. Let your body relax. Don't think about what happened. Don't anticipate on what will happen. Let's just be in a moment. Okay. So all over the world, we have been experiencing unrest between the police and the residents. Time after time, we are witnessing or hearing of abuse of power and police brutality. So there was a question that came about. Why aren't the other police officers saying anything? Why aren't they doing anything? We now have some answers to that question. Now, I do want to say that in light of everything, especially with the exposure with the cameras and everything, we did witness an African American female police officer check another police officer. We did witness that. And Shy Love, salute to you, pretty girl. We did witness it. But we need more, right? So she was brave enough to do it. What happened to the rest of them, right? So this is what happens when a Chicago cop speaks up about police misconduct. It is said that their lives are ruined. They are labeled as whistleblowers. The streets call a whistleblower a snitch. We're going to talk about here in Chicago specifically. The city council signed off on a $3.8 million settlement to an officer who reported misconduct and was reassigned. The Chicago aldermen reluctantly agreed to pay the $3.8 million to a veteran Chicago police officer who said she was fired for reporting a fellow officer who called her a, quote, stupid bitch, You a stupid bitch. And threatened her at work. After reporting the incident to her superiors, she was ousted from her job, while the accused, who already had a lengthy history of misconduct complaints, stayed in his position. So since the unjust killing of George Floyd in May, protests, looting, civil unrest, you name it. All of this has put a spotlight back on the police organization. What is going on is not new. It's not new. This hasn't just even started to occur within the past couple years. Generations of families are being able to testify to the abuse and the brutality from police officers. Generations of families. That's ridiculous. So, as I say, 2020, enough is enough. Enough is enough. But then again, you ask, well, how is it, especially police officers of color, how is it that they are not doing anything about it? You infiltrated the system enough to get in, only to become part of a corrupt system. Didn't you at first say that you wanted to go in and change things because of the police brutality that your people were witnessing? Because of the abuse of power? Because of the lack of appropriate involvement to clean up the streets and the communities? Wasn't that where your little head was? You wanted to help, right? So you go in with that intention and you find out that it's a different law. You're going to help, all right? You're going to help keep their establishment together. You're going to help them continue to be able to move like they're moving. That's what it's looking like based on everything that's happening, based on the information in this interview with several police officers who had to wait until they were retired, had to wait until after official business was taken care of to be brave enough to speak out. So y'all know it's a constant, we're hearing constant talk about, not enough money. We don't have enough money. A deficit. But do y'all know that these people paid out more than $500 million in misconduct settlements in the past decade? That's where all the money going? That's why the black and brown communities are not invested in as they should be? $500 million. Do you know what type of development we could have had around here in Chicago? But no, they got paid out to cover these police officers who wasn't doing what they were supposed to do. Their liabilities. You understand? I don't understand how they're still in their position when they are causing the city money. $500 million? And y'all tripping and fighting over pushing out an extra $1,200 stimulus check? Where does your priority really lie? Look like in cover-ups. doggone $500 million in misconduct settlement. Oh, y'all need a whooping. Somebody need a whooping. Take out the belt. Get the strap. So I need to lay over the knee and get a whooping. This is ridiculous. All the things that could have been done. So because of the history of the Chicago police, because of their ability to just, wash it away and settle, a lot of people don't believe in, especially Chicago's ability to reform its police officers. I still believe anything is possible. Just got to get in alignment for it. And you have to make the necessary changes. In 2017, the U.S. Department of Justice found that the CPD engaged in a pattern of unconstitutional force and has a deficit in accountability systems in place. Lord have mercy. How y'all telling the criminals to come on, turn yourself in, or telling the people to turn their people in? Turn your son in. Turn your brother in. Turn yourself in. Turn your fellow blue brothers in. This is ridiculous. Since 2019, the department has been operating under a federal consent decree. Despite pledging to make changes, the city missed 89 of 124 deadlines in the first year of the agreement. Now, I'm going to tell you this. At the time where all this was going on, Mayor T.T. Lightfoot was not in office as mayor. This is not something that just broke down overnight. And damn $500 million. People out here starving and homeless. Just this summer, it was determined that the Chicago police officers who shot a black man in Inglewood, were not wearing body cams. Now, I swear to God, teacher said that the police officers had to wear their body cams, that it was mandatory after the incident with George Floyd. My grandma used to say, a hard head make a soft hair. You don't want to listen. Mayor Lightfoot and Superintendent David Brown have vowed to truly reform the department. The police whistleblowers, the police snitches, say the CPD must rid itself of several high-level bosses and change an atmosphere where cops are taught in the police academy to never contradict another officer's story, or else. That's part of the training. Never contradict, ride or die. Never contradict another officer's story, or else. Or else don't mean, we're not going to invite you to the lounge we kick it with, get a few drinks afterward. Or else doesn't mean, we're just going to be disappointed in you telling. Or else mean action, baby. Or else mean you won't pay for that. Or else means pumpkin heads for the snitches. Or else. So although it does not justify what the officers in Minnesota, the fellow officers who did not have their neck on George's, their knee on George's neck, they were taught this is a part of their training, never to contradict. And then especially outside in front of the public, now you're showing division, you're showing weakness within the organization when they can point out the two police officers being combative with each other. You gotta be a unity. And it's been pretty effective overall. It's been wrong. The fruits that it has bore have become rotten. But it got you this far. Several high level bosses. I told y'all it's levels to this. It's not just the little ones in the blue that's just messing up and they just being disruptive little students. Somebody said that it was okay. Over and over again. Over and over again. Somebody said that it's okay. Because they are the law. Right? You are the law. But are you above the law? You're definitely not above street law. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Because I know when you're leaving out in the morning and you're kissing your wife and your little kid, and you're saying, Daddy will see you later. Hun, I'll see you tonight. That might not be necessarily so. So keep in mind, although you make your move, you got to understand that it's always a bigger beast. And you got to understand how stuff will come back on you. I hope that this was not y'all intent to be on bullshit when y'all signed up to join the academy. It's disappointing. So the Block Club, Shiloh, salute to the Block Club, spoke with people who learned firsthand what happened when you challenge the status quo within the Chicago Police Department. Okay, the first one, Laura, 14-year Chicago police veteran. When she was assigned to the Office of News Affairs in 2000. Now, apparently, this position was very sought after because their duties were to serve as a liaison to the news media. So she ended up filing a lawsuit in 2012, and she won. It was successful. Blessings to you and prosperity to you all who have to file lawsuits to get what's coming to you for justice. So she said she was preparing to leave work for the day when the officer VJ ran up to her, blocked her from leaving, and said, "Who do you think you are? You stupid bitch." You hear me? While shaking his finger in her face and raised his hand to strike her. Was they at work or on the street? That's some street behavior. At work, you were supposed to say that a little more professionally, at the very least. And definitely not raise your hand to strike a woman. You a bitch. So another officer intervened, but this officer just kept threatening her, telling her, "You are nothing. You are a stupid bitch. You don't know how to be the police. I am the police. I am the real police." Well, this am. Goodness gracious. You can feel the energy off of them words. At any time before you got to the point of telling her how she nothing and she's such a stupid bitch, did you at least try to talk to her? See if y'all can try to work something out? See if y'all can get some type of understanding? Goodness gracious. You lucky she ain't had no husband or some brothers or somebody to come and meet you after work. That's ridiculous. So while he going off, another officer tries to intervene to help protect her herself. This man right here already had a separate incident 3 years earlier and was found guilty of battery in excessive force in a federal lawsuit to a supervisor in internal affairs. Why was this man still in the position that he was in? So CPS transferred her, who had a medical condition. They put her back on the streets and started making her work midnight. Woman police officer. You know, I know a lot of women can hold their own, believe me. But I also know that a lot of street guys, they love to see a woman police officer coming because, baby, they're going to put you back in your place. They're going to remind you that they are men and you a woman, despite their gun and their badge. They used to love to see them coming. One of the police officers got lifted up off her feet like he suplexed her. Like it was not a pretty sight. She was hurt. And what happened? The boys came back and wrecked shop over that little lady police officer. As they should have, honestly. But what type of mess is this for you all to be the people who's supposed to really be protecting her? Y'all supposed to be the blue family. Put it back out there. Damn, they put on the strobe working midnight. So the officer who witnessed the incident was pushed out as well. They said after everything that they did to this lady, all she wanted was her little job back. All she wanted was her little job back. They wouldn't even do that. They wouldn't even make the situation right. So she sued. She sued. And got paid nearly $4 million in taxpayer money approved by the city council. She said that when you leave an officer like that in their position and you boot the victim and you boot the person who is trying to intervene in the name of justice, what type of message do you think that sends to the rest of the police department? You're not going to have too many police officers eager to step up to tell anything, even if it's them who are experiencing the abuse. They don't want it. They don't want to be put in those type of situations. So a person is doing wrong. You grow up through life, you're supposed to be guided towards not engaging in wrong or at least minimizing the amount of wrong you engage in. To help people. And then you give it an organization that has the Well, part of a reputation of being the good guys, the protectors, the ones that you can go to and trust. And shit, they got division within their own organization, whooping on each other. How, like, other than like the badges and the well, no, the Chiracians have the vest and stuff too. You're not too different from the Chiracians. Their loyalty, that's real big in the streets. Their code of silence, that's real big in the streets. I'm seeing a lot of similarities. Who's mirroring who here? Chiracians mirroring CPD, or CPD mirroring the Chiracians? Who's mirroring who here? Huh? Is it working out for you? So after 20 years of just doing what he wants to do on the force, this man was able to retire. So you know he got his little retire package, the benefit package, after 20 years on the job. For the incident with the other officer, he served a 1 day suspension for his actions. Both the supervisors that she reached out to are currently working in high ranking positions in the police department. We got another officer, Shannon, another veteran officer who reported wrongdoing within the department and the campaign of terror. Campaign of terror changed her life. That sounds like something that's traumatizing. Say they changed her life forever. Dang. She said there is nowhere in the department where anyone can go and say this is what happened without losing their job, possibly even their life. So her and her partner helped to bring down a sergeant, y'all, and another fellow officer who both pled guilty to federal charges in 2012 for stealing money from an informant. Okay, so what happens to the money that they take from the drug dealers? Seems like it's a lot of unaccountable money going around here. And I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm speaking on behalf of sincere police officers, those who still realize, those who realize that they are still humane and still have a heart and not out here trying to play RoboCop. Those who know how to set boundaries within the community while still showing a level of respect. I'm talking about them. Those who put themselves in harm's way in order to protect the innocent. Those who advocate for the victims who cannot take the matter into their own hands and reach out to them. I'm talking about these particular police officers. They should be getting paid more than enough money to where they don't have to steal from the drug dealer. You know, that'll make a person a little salty. You know, CPD and Chirac, they both, got that in common where every day they're like putting their life at risk. Every day they don't know if they will return home in one piece. But they do far more work, have far more duties than the drug dealers. I mean, for the position, and I know like with this public service stuff, they like, no, you shouldn't be getting all the money and this, that, and the other. But no, no. They should be getting adequate amounts of money for what they're doing. I'm I'm only speaking for the real police officers, not the real RoboCops, the humane ones, the ones who know how to do their job, the ones who are out here actually helping to change the atmosphere. Now, pay them people their money. Give them a reason to keep coming out here and doing good. So both were accused of shaking down residents of the Ida B. Wells housing complex. Boy, I used to go down at the Ida B. Wells and framing those who didn't pay up. It's not right, but it's common. People, you know, sideline hire police officers every day, put them on the payroll like every day. And maybe if they little sales will send a little bit more money, they're gonna be tempted to, you know, make them an extra move. Give a person their worth. You know what duties and regulations or whatever these people, have to be involved in. So only for those, the real police officers, make it worth their while to get out here and do this and engage with all these different personalities and energies and, um, mental health issues and everything. It's a lot, but it still does not excuse the behavior. It still does not excuse the behavior and the misconduct from these other police officers. But when you get it together, and when you get them good ones up in there, get them people their money. Used to go up there, I.D. Well. So since 2012, nearly 80 convictions connected to Watts have been thrown out, and Chicago taxpayers will be on the hook for any litigation to come from those wrongfully imprisoned. Are you effing kidding me? I hear more taxpayers complaining about having to add into the Medicaid and the Social Security. Do y'all know that y'all money going into the cover-ups for the police officers? I don't think everybody was aware of that part. Is that okay? Is that okay? Is it okay for your taxpayer money to go towards fixing and covering up and settling the misconduct of the police officers? That's baby back. Baby back. So instead of being rewarded for stopping the crime spree, Spalding and her partner were labeled rats by superiors. Dang. Given less desirable jobs and told fellow police officers don't don't back them up on the street. They told them we ain't got your back out here on the street. I thought that was part of your job, your duties. Stuff when you come in and you're hired and they give you a little handbook and everything. So they sued, and in 2016, the city settled for $2 million, preventing then Mayor Rahm Emanuel from having to take the witness stand and talk about the code of silence. When Rahm skedaddled on up out of Chicago, I swear to God, it was something to that. I swear to God, I'm like, it feel like this man is slagging out just in time. It feel like he's slagging out just in time. Then you mixed up with the whole Laquan. That was just too much. It was too much. And I didn't see y'all at his head like y'all at Titi head. Why? Because if it's a difference in color and a difference in gender, why? Here, even when Ron came here, he wasn't responsible for the bulk of problems and troubles that acquired here in Chicago. Why do you think that because a person is in a position that they don't snap their fingers and everything is just supposed to be alleviated and better all of a sudden? And then instead of trying to help to build your person up or support them or educate them even more in the spots where they're blind, it's an attack. Black Lives Matter. So this settlement stopped Ron from having to take the witness stand, talk about the code of silence. He admitted that a code of silence existed in a December 2015 speech when we was all out there protesting on behalf of Laquan McDonald. All out there with Jedediah Brown, them, the Revolution, all these little organizations who was out here on behalf of this boy, 15 shots in a cover-up. We ain't forget. Because of the severe emotional distress as a result of the alleged retaliation, both of them went on medical leave from the police department in 2013. So the partner ended up returning back to work after 7 months and is now currently working in the U.S. Marshals Task Force. Now, the lady Shannon, she still remains on medical leave. And her partner declined to speak up on her behalf, for this interview to confirm what she's saying to the public. He got his spot at the U.S. Marshals Task Force. He is not going to put no extra waves in the water, extra ripples in the water. So we have a gentleman, Lorenzo, another victim of the code of silence within the police department. He retired from his commander post in 2004 after 24 years on the job, and then worked 7 years for the Independent Police Review Authority, IPRA. Now, this is a man who is familiar with the now TT Mayor Lightfoot before she was the mayor. Okay? So they said that he was doing well at IPRA and had been promoted as a supervisor. But when he said that a Chicago police officer was not justified in the 2013 shooting of Cedric Chapman, his bosses pushed back. So sometimes some of these positions, they are putting certain people in there so that they can make sure that they remain covered. And it's like, yeah, we know that you're supposed to check the police and make sure whatever, but we the police. It ain't written in law, but it's law not to contradict each other, right? This is something that was implemented during training. So during training, this was something that was very significant that they was to take with them throughout their career, right? So now when the little men say, well, I have my duties now determining me to evaluate you in this manner or evaluate this officer in this manner, and it was found to be misconduct, and it was found to be unjust, they got upset. They got upset. They tried to make him change his findings and exonerate the officer. He was fired. Fired. He sued and he was awarded a $2.8 million lawsuit. When an officer speaks up, no one wants to work with him. He said if you call for help, some people may not respond. Word gets around. It's like a big old high school. Word gets around. They say there are no secrets in the police department. If you become known as one who will tell on your partners, you become known as a snitch, you become known as a rat, there's almost nowhere you can go where people will not know. They make sure to put your name out there. A lot of people are real big on trying to destroy people's names and reputations and stuff, destroy somebody else's reputation and character so that the truth won't be exposed, so that they won't be listened to because they have already put them out there at such a low level and discredited them as people. The thing about it is that this is not just police, this is people. Certain people who vibrate at certain lower vibrational levels. They don't want the truth to be exposed about them, so they lie on you. So, at this time, the officers have come to just expect backlash. They expect for the other officers to turn against them, to retaliate, because that's how they move. And they spoke up before, talking to the supervisors and internal affairs and everything, and now these people have won their lawsuits and they talking to the media. So they won't be surprised if they receive backlash for talking to the media, even though they're no longer a part of the police department. That's one thing about the police, like one of their main points. One thing about police officers is that they have a lot of resources and they can find you one way or another. If they're really looking for you, they can find you. They got CIs on the street. They got a lot of links and resources. Lots. Lots. Some people are willingly participating. Some people have business arrangements. Some people are cooperating out of fear. So, may these officers who are being bold enough to bring these stories to the public eye, to expose what's really going on, what has been really going on, may they have protection and inner peace. May these other officers see the error of their ways and start to make better decisions. Good and well, you don't want nobody treating you like you're treating people. But they said, you know what? We know they're going to get upset. We know we're going to face backlash. But this is something that needs to be put out into the public. They said that it is important for the public to be aware of what the cops are trying to do when they're trying to do the right thing and going up against other police officers. It's not a cakewalk in the park for them either. So make sure that you stay tuned so that we can continue to have this conversation, so that we can continue to go over this information and get a greater understanding of what's going on, what's been going on, why things are the way that they are. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Shiloh Radio Show, Pop Radio Worldwide, iHeartRadio, and Spotify Premium. We love you. And you can change if you want to, only if you want to.